just want to say it's a great, great pleasure to talk to you about Yossi. Yossi Zaguri, who is the gentleman who was the architect and the creator of the beautiful kitchen that you see behind us. We're so very thrilled with everything from start to finish, with the building process and with the final product, and we couldn't recommend him higher. Yossi is the owner of Decor, which is his company, and we asked him to build our kitchen approximately almost a year and a half ago now. And we interviewed and took estimates from a number of other contractors prior to meeting Yossi, and once we met Yossi and talked with him and discussed the project, there was just no question in my mind or in Lily's mind that he was the right man for the job. From the very beginning that Yossi came over to our home, he was personable, he was totally honest, he was very easy to talk to, very kind and considerate of our time, explained in great detail all of the ideas that he had in terms of how to design and build our kitchen. And after the first meeting with him, quite frankly, we were both convinced that we didn't need any more estimates and any more ideas about how to do things, and he was our man. He came forth with such an openness, and we felt he was trustworthy. We immediately recognized his sincerity and his desire to do the very best for us. And once the project started, well, actually, to step back a step, before we actually started the process, he detailed for us quite specifically how he was going to do the project in a step-by-step manner, and what he was going to do and what the timing was be. And I will tell you that he stayed right on schedule, and when he told us he was going to be here, he was here, and he was very careful with our furniture and with our property, and everything he did was exactly how he explained it, and we felt totally comfortable with him being in our home, and it was just a good experience from start to finish. We were also very cognizant of the fact, and we explained to Yossi that we wanted everything done in up to code and up to standards, and to do things the right way, and in every situation Yossi made sure that this was done, and he showed us everything, the blueprints and the plans, before he went ahead with things, and made sure that it was as Lily and I wanted it to be. And from the very beginning it just went beautifully, and the finished product is fantastic. As you can see from what you see behind you, it just everything turned out beautifully, and I could not possibly imagine having somebody more honest and more trustworthy, and his pricing was fair and his quality was impeccable. And so we've been nothing but satisfied from start to finish. And as a matter of fact, we have other projects that we're planning to do with our home, and I don't even plan to get any more estimates for that. I trust him so much that we're going to go ahead and work with him on an ongoing basis. And I think that anybody who works with him will find the same sort of trust and sincerity in the work that he does.
And I just want to add that I was very frightened of the fact of having a stranger come into my home and basically disrupt our style of living, and also disrupt our plans or our schedules. And Yossi was very careful as not to do that. I was studying for finals at the time for a big career move, and his men were out of the house when he said they were going to be out of the house, and I had the time in the evening to study. So that was very important to me, and he kept his word. The men and Yossi were also very clean. Everything was set in its place. Everything was swept up at the end of the day. They were punctual. They had good manners. They were very cognizant as a whole team as to our needs and our wants. And also, they, especially Yossi, if we had any questions, he would sit down, he would discuss it with us, he would explain things to us in detail, and as well as if we had any suggestions that we thought might improve the project, we would sit down and we would talk about it as a team. So he does take a wonderful family and team approach. You're not left out of any of the decision-making processes. He's honest, punctual, fair-priced, and as my husband said, as Mark said, we are going to do our next project in a few weeks, and Yossi is going to be helping us to do that project, and we haven't priced it out with anybody else because he's so fair. It would be my pleasure to recommend him to any homeowner that is out there that needs a small or a large project done on their home. And he's wonderful. I love my kitchen. I work in my kitchen every day. I've come up with new recipes because it's so easy to work in my kitchen. And it's just wonderful and beautiful. So thank you very much for listening to us, and goodbye.
I have one other thing to say, okay, too, just to amplify something that Lily said, and that is that at every step of the project, Yossi's men were here, but he was here as well, and he, at all phases of the game, was here and took a personal role in supervising and making sure everything was done right. He didn't disappear, and let his men basically work for hours or days at a time, but he was here and he made sure that things were done right. And the second thing I wanted to mention to all of you is that he had a lot of flexibility, because with a project like a kitchen like this, sometimes you come up with ideas of how to do things on the fly. You see something, say, well, why don't we do this differently, or why don't we do that differently than we had planned, as the project unfolds. And Yossi was extremely flexible, and in fact came up with a number of suggestions himself as to changing things at the last minute, which in every single case worked out for the best. And so, in general, I just think that I can't say enough good things about him as a person, as a businessman, as a person who is fair and honest, and I give him my complete recommendation for any project, small or large.
Yes, both of us do.